thank you so much. And I'm going to kick it off to James.
All right, well, thank you, Lisa, for the introduction, and Suzanne and all the team for putting together this webinar. And I'm honored and privileged to participate and engage with y'all, and excited to share the Supply Diversity Program for California Bank and Trust. As Lisa stated, my name is James Jackson III. I'm the Supplier Development Program Manager, Supply Diversity Program Manager for Zions Bank Corporation. I have been with the bank for almost 9 years. Started with one of our affiliates with Zions Bank, and then moved to the Zions Bank Corporation, which is the holding company for 8 affiliate banks across the West, and California Bank and Trust is one of them. In 2019, we were doing an update within our supply chain structure, and our new supply chain director came to us and said, we need a supplier diversity program. And at the time, I really didn't understand what supplier diversity was all about, but my background really comes from community development. I am the founder of the Utah Black Chamber here in Salt Lake City. That organization has been up and running for almost 13 years. And so I've understood, the importance of getting equitable access to opportunities for diverse businesses. And so indirectly, I was helping businesses engage in a supplier diversity program, but I know there was a formal program that companies held within their organization. And when they tapped me to do this program, I got really excited, and then I became even more passionate about how not only does the supply diversity program help small businesses, but how it helps the community overall. So as I kind of go through this, I'll share what a supply diversity program is, who's eligible, how it helps the banks and the community and these small businesses, and I'm just excited to share it with y'all. So we'll go over to the next slide to really help define what is a diverse supplier. Well, a diverse supplier is a business that's managed, owned, controlled, or operated by someone that's 51% owned by someone that's controlled, managed, or operated company. So it can be a Black-owned business, it could be any type of racial, ethnic, or minority-owned business, LGBTQ business, a women-owned business, a veteran-owned business, or a business owned by someone with disabilities. So that is a diverse supplier. Supplier diversity is a process that creates fair and equitable engagement for these diverse businesses to participate in the corporate or public agency sourcing and procurement opportunities with the desired state of increasing business while delivering value to corporations, public agencies, and ultimately the customer. So if you can imagine, California Bank and Trust, we have offices and branches all across the state of California. And a lot of times we have to source for vendors to help us with those offices. We have products and services that we're rolling out to the community, and which means we require a certain type of software or equipment. We require, to get office supplies or paper. We need someone to manage our properties. We need vendors to help us with our softwares and technology, cybersecurity. And a lot of those, we don't develop in-house. We look for other companies to help us with these with these devices, with these products, so we can push out our services into the community. So the role of supplier diversity is to identify a diverse supplier that can be the vendor or be the source for those types of opportunities. You go to the next slide. So when I talk about supplier diversity, it's not something that's really something that's the right thing to do, or something that's the affirmative action or philanthropic. This is a strategy for the California Bank and Trust and other banks and companies out there, because we understand the importance of how to grow a community. We've all heard the term or phrase that the United States was founded on small business. A lot of times what happens is that big companies will tend to go to other big companies for their product needs. However, if you really want to stimulate the economy within your community, the Supplier Diversity Program is what is equipped to do that. Because not only do you develop a diverse business, it can also act as a competitive activity driver, because now you have more businesses as part of your RFP process to be eligible for these sourcing opportunities that you're looking for your company. For example, if you're looking for more office supplies, instead of rather going to an Office Depot, is there a small business or a diverse business that can also provide those office supplies for your branch or for your company? If you want to go to the next slide. So supply diversity is really, I call it there's 3 prongs to diversity, equity, and inclusion. A lot of times companies will focus on the workforce as far as diversity, right? They want to diversify the workforce, make sure there's diverse talent through all levels of their company, from the executive level to entry level, to provide equitable pathways to growth for those diverse employees, which is great. There's also the market and community diversity strategy. How are you engaging with the diverse community around you? What type of social impact are you making? Are you supporting, like a Black Chamber of Commerce or other diverse business organizations or social organizations to help drive diversity and inclusion within the community? How are you marketing your products and services to the diverse community? Are you able to provide products that support the growth of the diverse community within your area? What a lot of people don't think about is the supplier diversity strategy, where not only are you looking at the social aspect, but here's an opportunity to look at the business aspect of growing your community, where you're not only supporting these small businesses with resources and capital, but you're providing them with opportunities to say, hey, I think your product or your service would be great for our company, because we need to roll this out and make how we roll out our product and service more efficient, will be more effective. And by doing that, you can help that small business grow. If you go to the next slide. So there's a lot of myths out there about a diverse business. There's a lot of unconscious biases that take place when you go to a small business or a diverse business. In reality, there are a lot of diverse businesses that are small that can help you with the products and services or with your company. And then there's billion-dollar diverse businesses that can help you grow your business. So there's diverse businesses at all levels, so with all different types of products and services that can really assist in the growth of your company. I really see it as a partnership to grow the overall community. Going back towards the 3-pronged approach to diversity, equity, and inclusion strategy, right? This, as you're trying to develop an employee to become eventually an executive of your company, being in the director of the C-suite, or you're really supporting the engagement of NAACP or a Latino-based organization that's really making waves throughout the community to providing equitable pathways for youth, for families, and so forth. Where here's an opportunity where there are small businesses out there that are up against that same fight, trying to fight through the systemic barriers. And this is a way for you to help them overcome those systemic barriers, developing these opportunities for them, but also creating more opportunities for you as a company by looking at a diverse array of other businesses out there that could provide products and services that you may have never thought of, or that they could provide to you at a more competitive cost, to help you push, developing a cost savings so you can further grow your own business. Going to the next slide. So we at California Banking Trust, if you go to our website, calbt.com, you go to resources tab, and then you'll see supplier diversity. It'll take you to this website. So if you are a diverse business, if that's 51% owned, managed, or operated by someone if you're a minority ethnic background, LGBTQ, women, veteran, or your person with disability, and you own a small business, you say, hey, you know what, I want to see if there's an opportunity where I can provide my products and services to California Banking Trust. You can go to this website and just register your company. We'll ask you the basis of your, this basic information of your company, what type of product and services you'll offer. If you can upload your diversity certificate so we know that you are a diverse business, look for your capability statement. That'll come to me directly. And then my goal is to get you connected with Elisa Brooks or one of our team here that's looking for maybe a sourcing opportunity. If you're an office supply company, or if you're a janitorial service, or if you're a software company, I want to get you connected with those lines of businesses, with those decision makers to say, hey, let's look at this particular company and see if there's an opportunity where they can provide a service to us as we roll out our products. So go to the next slide. And so I mentioned that we look for you to upload a certificate, because there's various ways that we identify as a diverse supplier. Yes, if we have a relationship with you already, if you're a client of California Bank and Trust, then we know you are a diverse business. But how about someone like me who's based out of Salt Lake City, Utah? I don't yet have that relationship, as well as other big companies out there, right? And so there is an opportunity where you can actually become a diverse supplier by registering your business as a minority business enterprise or a women's business enterprise, veteran-owned business, LGBTQ-owned business. You can actually earn a certification, and by doing that, your business will become more visible to other companies that have a supplier diversity program. So California Bank and Trust, you'll be able to see you, but also there could be a Target or a PepsiCo or Coca-Cola. There could be the larger banks like a Wells Fargo, other big companies out there that, if you're driving along the freeway, most of these companies have a supplier diversity program. And if you provide a great product or service that you think would be great for them, you want to register your business as a diverse business, as a minority business enterprise or disadvantaged business, because then you'll be able to come up in their databases and have an opportunity to develop your relationship with you. The government does the same thing. Government actually has stipulations in place where it's actually mandated that they use a percentage of their spend towards that diverse businesses. There's a lot that goes into getting a government certification. Sometimes it could take a year and a half, couple of years. You have to have a certain revenue in order to be eligible. Whereas as a diverse supplier for private companies, the process, doesn't take nearly as long. But like I said, you become a lot more visible. So if you can go to the next slide, please. So like I mentioned, there are a lot of different ways where you could become a diverse supplier. And where do you go to get these types of certifications? One of the main standards is the National Minority Supplier Development Council. You can go to their main website. They also have 33 other chapters throughout the region. I know that California has a couple of them. There's a Southern California Minority Supplier Development Council, and there's one up north as well. And you can go into their website. They have programs to help educate you, to help scale your business, grow your business, help your business become more visible. They'll walk you through becoming a diverse supplier and get that certification. And once you earn that certification, like I mentioned, you'll get put into a lot of these databases that companies use to start sourcing for diverse businesses. Same thing for the Women's Business Enterprise National Council. So you become a WBE. The next slide. There's also the same thing for LGBTQ business and veteran-owned businesses, businesses owned by people with disabilities. There's all these organizations throughout the nation, within your state, within your city, that you can go to become a diverse supplier. A lot of databases will come from maybe your city has a certification process that you can go through. Maybe your state has a certification process that you can go through. All of these, there's hundreds of ways where you can get a diverse certification. And like I said, it is critical that you do that as a diverse business. It's not that expensive. It is an investment into your business. You can mark it up as a marketing expense, as your marketing strategy. There are several businesses out there that I know of where most of their revenue is through their being a diverse supplier for large companies, where they rarely are out there marketing their business because their business comes from a lot of these big companies. I'll give you an example. There, when Louisiana started bringing in casinos into the state, there was a small Black-owned business that did printing services, and they sourced that printer to just handle the paper that comes through like the slot machines to kind of print out where you can take to the teller to kind of cash out. But that's what his main source was. He did a lot of other printing, but that's what they sourced strictly for that. He became so good at it that other casinos started sourcing for him as well. What happened with that business? He had to hire more staff. His business started to grow, and he became a huge staple within that small Louisiana city. So it not only impacted those casinos because they're able to grab a solid, diverse supplier for the printing services, but it significantly impacted that community because more jobs are created. His family, of course, grew and became more stable, providing more opportunities for him. He became more of an influencer in the community and was able to be how to get contracted, get contracts from other small businesses to help him grow his own business. So it created this domino effect of success for that entire community with just him providing a printing service to a casino. I'm going to go to the next slide. So here, like I mentioned, that's the important part of the benefits of becoming certified. Not only get introduced to casinos, but like I said, to banks like ours, to big companies, the Walmarts, Targets, even car dealerships, big warehouses. They all have supplier diversity programs, and you'll be able to get exposed to those. These other organizations like the Minority Supplier Development Councils, cities and states, they have these networking opportunities and events to help you grow your business, to gain valuable information, and also get face time with these companies that have a supply diversity program. This is a relationship type business, right? We want to build a relationship with you as a diverse business, get to know more about you, and also help you grow. We as a bank, and Jeff will go in more details about how we can support you as well. We want this to be a win-win. We want to be a customer to you, but of course we want you to be our customer because we want to help you grow. Because your success, of course, is our success. If we can help add more funding into your business to scale up, then you can provide more products or service to us to help us grow our business, and in essence helps growing your business, right? And so it provides a lot of these, so that certification not only gets you access to those databases, but it really gives you access to education, a network, and opportunities for you to grow your business. Going to the next slide. So here's my contact information. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions regarding our supplier diversity program. You can go to our website and register if you're a diverse business. I'm happy to get you connected with not only with California Bank and Trust, but as Lisa mentioned and myself earlier, we have 8 affiliate banks across the West. We're in 11 different states, from Idaho, Utah, Colorado, Jackson Hole, Wyoming, Nevada, Arizona, California, Washington, and Oregon. And so if you provide any products and services into that region, then yes, definitely reach out to me. Let's see if we can work together and provide opportunities for you. So thank you so much for your time and me talking about the Supply Diversity program. Suzanne, are we doing questions now or questions at the very end?
Yeah, we'll do both. If anyone has any questions right now, they can put them in the chat. And I know you're sticking around until the end, so we can ask them later if we don't get to them. But I was wondering if you could speak a little bit, and you were kind of touching on it here at the end about networking. I know you said you're really active in your local chamber. But what do those opportunities mean as a diverse supplier? And like, how can you find out about opportunities through networking outside of maybe the certification organizations that you can get involved in?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you'll see the sweatshirt that I'm wearing. It says "Buy Black," right? So this is an initiative that's put on by the U.S. Black Chambers. And so if you're a Black-owned business, the certification is actually free. If you just go to buyblack.com, you can register as a Black-owned business. This is one of the many ways where you can get certified. But through that, for example, we're excited that NBA All-Star Weekend is coming to Salt Lake City, Utah. First time in 30 years. We're hosting a Black Bazaar. So everyone that is registered as a Black-owned business, the U.S. Black Chamber is hosting a Black Bazaar, Black Business Bazaar right in downtown Salt Lake City. So that's just one example of how these networking opportunities can benefit you. There's a lot of ethnic minority chambers across the state of California that you can engage in, and these chambers of commerce have big companies that are members and sponsors of those organizations where you can develop those relationships. And a lot of those companies do have a non-certified channel to where if you develop a relationship and become a diverse supplier where you don't necessarily have to get certified, but if you're just developing that relationship with those big companies, as a member of a chamber or the Minority Supplier Development Council, like I mentioned, it's a relationship-based type initiative strategy. So building a relationship with the ethnic minority chambers, organizations like Accessity or other business organizations that really elevate your visibility, where you can promote your business and build relationships, could provide you huge opportunities as far as, just got to get your business out there. Someone always told me, 90% of life is just showing up.
I love that. That's awesome. We have a couple people with their hands raised. I see one, Cindy. I'm going to see if I can allow you to talk if you want to ask your question. Oh, she just dropped off. And then, okay, I think I don't see her anymore. How about, oh, I see, here's Cindy. I'm going to allow you to talk, and if you want to ask your question. Do we have
Hi.
Cindy? Hi.
Yeah, I think that the chat is not working.
Oh,
It's
okay.
disabled.
Oh, okay. Let me see if I can fix that. Thank you for letting me know.
You're welcome.
Okay, perfect. Did you have a question, or I think I fixed the chat?
Also, is there a way to, we're not being recorded, right?
You are, yeah, this webinar is being recorded, and I'll send out the recording after the webinar.
Sorry, like not like in our person, like the video, that's what I meant.
No, it's just the audio.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, thanks. Okay, great. I think we have one more question, or if you want to try to put it in the chat now. Sorry about that. I'm not sure why the chat wasn't working. I think it should be working now. So let me see, Razel, if you have a question.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yeah, we can hear
Yes.
you.
Thank you. I've been certified for a few years now, kind of came back. But my question is, because I know that there's buying cycles for all these large corporations, or is there a window that we need to connect with them, like a better window during the time of year? I know that some of them are ending calendar cycle December 31st, and some of them are June 30th. Is there a list that we could take a look at, or do we have to research that ourselves just to make it easier to connect to any of these supplier diversity managers?
It really depends on the industry itself.
Right.
For California Bank and Trust, we don't have necessarily a cycle. We're always looking for sourcing opportunities. Our category managers within our supply chain, they're busy every day of the year trying to lock down a small business to help with any type of procurement opportunities that we have. So we don't necessarily have a cycle.
Okay. So I understand that we just have to register on your site pretty much in any of the businesses, and we can get email notifications on when all these opportunities are coming in.
So what will happen once you register on our site? I would encourage you to email me after you do register, because sometimes the site doesn't notify me when someone has registered. So you can email me, let me know you're registered. I can go in, I'll look at your profile, then I'll identify a line of business and then connect with them and see when these opportunities may come. Sometimes the opportunities don't come immediately. Sometimes they don't come up within a year. A lot of times, we're in a contract with a company, and we're just waiting for that contract to finish up to where these opportunities can open up. So a lot of that is me just connecting with these decision makers and identifying these opportunities. But when you're registered on our platform, it's part of establishing that relationship. So I know that I have, your business here lined up, queued up, and ready to go for when these opportunities are ready.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Okay, great. Well, yes, the chat should be fixed now. So if anyone has any questions, you can put them in there. I think we'll move on to the next presenter. And if there's any other questions for James, we'll definitely get to them by the end. So our next presenter is Jeff Barger. He's the Business Center Manager of California Bank and Trust Kearny Mesa office. And he is going to tell you a little bit more about their small business diversity banking program. So I'll throw it to you, Jeff.
Great, thank you. Yeah, so in my role as a relationship manager, I assist small businesses and also nonprofits with their lending and cash management needs here at CB&T. In May of 2021, we launched a small business diversity lending program that's intended to help us meet the credit needs of the small businesses owned and operated by minorities, women, veterans, and now the LGBTQ community. These are groups that have all had challenges accessing traditional bank credit, and it's our effort to make sure that we're doing everything we possibly can to make credit more equitably available to all small businesses. So this is a program, not a grant. It's not a grant program, but it's one that's designed to expand our lending credit eligibility for these businesses owned by these groups. So since we began this program a year ago, we've received more than 400 eligible applications from businesses of all types. We've approved more than 200 of those applications, totaling more than $81 million of credit. 4.9 million of that amount would not have been approved without this program in place. So at California Bank and Trust, like I said, we're committed to building relationships with small businesses in our communities that help drive the economic prosperity and success for their customers. So this focus on relationship banking means that we take the time to understand our customers and their needs and use every resource and tool at our disposal to help our customers meet those financial goals. So for some business banking customers, the best lending solution may be a loan through the small business bank, this small business banking program. For others, it might be an SBA loan or a conventional loan, or even a referral to a community development finance institution such as Accessity. So let me just kind of talk a little bit about that program, and thank you for switching to the next slide. So again, this is a lending program. It's not a grant, and it's designed to kind of help open up the doors for minorities, women, and veteran-owned businesses, and to help them access the capital that they need to be successful. You can go ahead and go on to the next slide. So again, as I mentioned, the program specifically is designed for minority-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, and veterans. And we recently expanded the program to also include members of the LGBTQ community. Okay. So small businesses that are more than 50% owned or controlled by one or more minority, and for the program. So the businesses need to be located within California or within our Zions footprint, because this is available through our other affiliates as well. They have to have a maximum of no more than 10 million in gross annual revenue, and it could be all business types. Sole proprietors, partnerships, limited liability companies, C Corps, S Corps, and what's not listed on this slide, but actually we do look at nonprofits as well for this program, as long as, again, they're run by a minority, women-owned, etc. So the program consists of, again, just expanding the credit opportunities, and we literally just kind of flex and loosen up our lending eligibility for a wide variety of different programs that we have. So we have what's called our business access program, which involves lines of credits or term loans. And these are a real streamlined program to where there's just an application only. There's not a deep dive into financials or tax returns. And so under this program, we can consider lines of credits for up to $25,000, and that's an unsecured, secured and unsecured line of credit for up to $25,000, or a term loan of up to $175,000. Now we can also consider larger loan amounts and lines of credit or term loans under this program outside of that business access program. Again, as long as the revenues of the business is less than 10 million, and that program would require a more deep dive in underwriting and would require a full package, such as their products that we have available for this program would be owner-occupied real estate. So if you're looking at buying the building that your business is operating out of, that could be an option under this program. And then again, other long-term fixed asset financing as well. So we can do larger equipment type, what have you, under this program. And as I kind of mentioned earlier, we do work very closely with Accessity because we're not always able to approve every application that comes through, and so that's why we're so involved with them and engage with them and like to partner and pass on business as we can and to help our customers meet their financial needs. Another thing with CB&T is that all of our offices are staffed with very knowledgeable bankers. We have extensive internal training in the bank, and really pride myself with being surrounded by a lot of very knowledgeable bankers here to assist you. So next slide, I think that's it. I'm happy to take any questions as well.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jeff. Yeah, if people have questions for Jeff, they can put them in the chat, and maybe we will get to them at the end. We'll go to Juliette, I think, right now, just in the interest of time. So we do have a little time for Q&A at the end. So next up, we have an amazing business development officer from Excessity, Juliette Terriman. She is just such a knowledgeable person, and she's working with business owners day in and day out, especially diverse business owners. It's one of the main markets that we serve. So she's going to talk a little bit about that and what Accessity does. So I'll toss it to you, Juliette.
Thank you so much. And thank you for the introduction. If you want to go to the next slide, you can see my picture. I, again, am Juliette. I work as a business development officer here in the city of San Diego. And I've been in business development for about 4 years, 4.5 years, going on my 5th year here with Accessity. So, oh, look at that love in the chat already. Hi, Cindy. So I'm really excited to be here with you guys today. I'm going to go through our program and who we are. So Accessity, you've heard this name many times already in this presentation, but our mission, we're a mission-based lender. We are a nonprofit organization, and our mission is to open doors of financial opportunity primarily to those historically with less access to capital and business resources and support. So just as everybody else has mentioned, we work with entrepreneurs of color, women, immigrants, veteran-owned businesses, low to moderate income entrepreneurs, LGBTQ, BIPOC communities, because we really want to help these businesses get that access to capital who don't necessarily have it or have the same resources. So we are able to do that through our many partners and funders. I'm really grateful for that. And we are a certified CDFI, which is a community development financial institution. We have been around since 1994. Oh, so much love in the chat, you guys. Thank you. I love you guys from day one, Annika says. But we have been around for almost 30 years. I'm really excited to highlight some numbers here. We have dispersed more than 68 million in loans in those 30 years. And in the last 2 years during COVID, we were able to disperse 11 million in COVID relief support. So we're really proud of that. We were able to help communities and business owners when the pandemic started. So this year so far in 2022, we've done about a little over 8 million in all of our counties that we operate in, which includes San Diego County, San Bernardino, Riverside, Imperial, Orange, and Los Angeles counties, which are 2 of our newer counties. We just expanded up to LA and Orange County the beginning of this year. So happy to expand to the rest of Southern California. And then I'll talk a little bit about the businesses that we do help. We work with startup businesses, and this is one thing that sets us apart from a traditional bank, right? We're here to fill a gap and help businesses that aren't yet ready to go on to a traditional lender like California Bank and Trust. So we're here to help businesses that are pre-revenue, startups. We consider startups less than 6 months, and businesses that have a business plan, have 1-year financial projections ready to go, but they are not yet generating revenue. So the important thing with that is that if you are going to be getting a loan, and I should mention these are all loans that we offer, they're all term loans, but if you are going to be getting a loan with us, it is important if you're a startup business to have another source of income. That can be a job that you have, it can be Social Security, it can be retirement, it can be rental property that you have, but it's important that you can show that when you're looking for debt by taking on the loan that you can afford to make those debt payments. And then of course we work with existing businesses, businesses that are not yet ready to go the traditional path. So they have less than 2 years in business. Maybe they have some past credit history challenges, but now they're current on their credit. And one thing I really want to highlight is we do help people with new credit. I just did a loan earlier this year for somebody who had absolutely no credit established. She was an older woman, but she just never taken anything out on credit. So we were able to help her with a small loan. And then we also work with individuals who have ITIN numbers. So that's a number that you get in order to file your taxes, but you don't yet have your Social Security number. So there are limitations on how much we can lend to ITIN holders. I believe it's up to 50,000 right now. However, it is something that is possible to at least get your business started or grow in the ways that you need to. And one thing I want to mention here on this slide before we move on is that our underwriting guidelines are a little bit more flexible, so that we're able to look at the loan as a full picture. And in a couple of slides, I'll go over how we actually do look at loans. But that's one thing that sets us apart, being a nonprofit community, mission-based organization. We want to look at the full picture to see how we can help the clients to get the funding that they need. All right, so and I'm going to go through a lot of information, a lot of details. So please do put your questions in the chat, and then I'll put my info at the end too, so that if you want to chat about anything in specific or see if you might be a good fit for our program, that's definitely the first step. But our loan programs go from $300 up to $100,000. So you'll see right there, the 2 green points at the top are the 2 different loan sizes that we have. So our rapid loan is up to $8,000. We are testing out a rapid loan right now up to $25,000 with more flexible underwriting and less documentation. And then anything over $25,000 to $100,000 is going to be our regular loan program, meaning that it is going to be a full package, right? Kind of Jeff touched on that package, what that means as far as providing full financials. One other thing I want to note with the rapid loan is that you don't need to provide financials for that program. So if it's something that maybe you don't have as consistent financial information, that's a good program to at least start, get your feet wet, show that you can pay off a loan, and then you can always refinance your loan down the line. I want to talk about the interest rate. So you'll see that big range there, 6.99 to 14.99. That's based on the overall risk involved in lending to you and your business. So in the next slide, I'm going to go through how we look at the 5 C's of credit, but we are looking at your strengths and weaknesses that you're bringing to the table as a borrower and your business. So what we do is we look at about 8 different risk factors to give you a calculation of that interest rate. Now, again, I mentioned the first step is to have a conversation with me to see if this is a good program for you and to see if you're a good fit for our program. And in that first initial conversation, I'll be able to give you a quote for your interest rate so that you know somewhere within that range where you would fall on the interest rate side. Loans do not have any prepayment penalties. Sorry, Suzanne, go back one. I just paused. But our loans do not have any prepayment penalties. The loans or the interest rate is simple and fixed interest. So they will not change once you sign loan documents on an interest rate. That is your interest rate for the duration of your time that you have the loan. And then they're personally guaranteed. That just means that, if you're selling your business or closing your business, you are personally guaranteeing that you are going to pay the loan. So the loan follows you rather than the business. And again, this is alternative lending. So that's why some of these things you might say, oh, the interest rate might be high. Oh, I'm personally guaranteeing the loan. That's usually how an alternative lender can get your loans approved while you're in this alternative space. Our whole mission as an organization is to get you to graduate up to a bank level or a traditional level, where then you can start to build your business credit. And sometimes they do require personal guarantees, but it's at least building your business credit, and then you can get, you know, a lower rate, hopefully once the rates drop. And then quickly, just to touch on some costs involved with the loan, I did mention there's no prepayment penalties. So if you want to pay your loan off, you know, within 6 months or a year, you can absolutely do that. We don't charge you any additional fees, but there are closing costs that you will pay for the loan, and those are detailed at the bottom there. Those are 6%. And then we do give a 1% discount and $100 off the closing cost for veterans and active duty military. Okay. Now I'm ready to go to the next slide. And these are the 5 C's of credits that I did touch on. I'm not going to go through super detailed on these because, I mean, I could talk all day about the 5 C's of credit. But essentially what I want you to take away from this is that we're looking as a lender at the strengths and the weaknesses involved in lending to you and your business. So as we're going through the 5 C's of credit, it's giving us an idea of, okay, this is a strength, this is a weakness. Any weaknesses that you have, we want to try to mitigate those weaknesses with any strengths. Okay. So if you see something on here and you're like, oh my goodness, I do not have collateral, you know, it doesn't disqualify you from the loan process. It just is like, okay, if you don't have collateral, how can we mitigate that? Do you have, you know, good credit, good repayment history on your credit in order to mitigate that? So starting with character, we're looking at your credit. You're coming to us, we don't know you, your credit is the first thing and the only thing that we really can see of how do you pay your bills on time? How are you with your bills? If you have any challenges, are you on a payment plan, or are you just putting them, you know, on the back burner and not dealing with them? So that all goes into the character portion of it. How responsible are you with making payments on time? Because this is a loan, you are going to be paying this loan back. So that's all something that we use to determine character. And then experience too. Are you getting into an industry that you are familiar with, or are you know, a chef and you want to open a hair salon? And how does that make sense, right? Okay, if that's your scenario and you have a partner who's coming in who has been a hairstylist for many, many years, then that makes more sense. That's bringing the experience portion to your loan. And then with capacity, I did talk about, you know, these are loans, and really I would say capacity is probably the most important thing, because we want to make sure that you are taking on debt that you can afford to pay, right? And so you can bring on a co-borrower on your loan if you don't have the capacity yourself to make the payments. And if the business is just a startup, you can bring on a co-borrower. You can get another source of income, right? There's all sorts of Uber and other jobs that you can do on the side where you can up your income in order to show the ability to take on that debt. So I would say, honestly, capacity might be the most important portion, because if you don't have any capacity, we're not going to put you in a situation where you don't have the ability to pay. Ideally, the business is going to take on those debt payments eventually. However, your payments are going to start within, you know, 30 to 45 days after you get the loan. So that's why we're really looking at your current sources of income and your current expenses to make sure it makes sense. And then collateral. Again, if you don't have collateral, it's not a deal breaker. The only collateral that we use on the loans are vehicles or cars, trucks, trailers, food trucks that are paid off that we can use as collateral. We can also use personal vehicles, but that is the collateral we use. And then the capital is also not required. We don't have an injection that you have to put into the business. We don't have, you know, a down payment, or we don't require you to have savings. It is important that you have the money in your account to pay the closing costs, which I did mention we're about 6% of the loan size you're approved for. But again, if you don't have a down payment or savings, you're not automatically disqualified from our program. We take a look at the full picture. And then the condition, I did say this just a minute ago, you know, does it make sense? Does the purpose of the loan make sense? We just want to make sure you're not, you know, going to go to Cabo and run away and use the money for that. So does the purpose of the loan make sense in order to help your business generate more revenue? Or if you're a starting business, get your business to a point where you are generating revenue. So Again, the interest rate looks at a calculation based on the 5 C's of credit to give you that quote. So you can kind of use that. And then, like I said, reach out to me if you want to talk about a quote that might give you an idea of where you'll fall within that range. And let's go to the next one. I just have some quick tips here I wanted to put before applying for the loan. It's broken down based on startups and existing businesses. But again, if you're a startup, don't quit your job. I did mention that is a few times about how important it is to show that you can pay the loan. And just monitor your credit. You know, you can use Experian without paying monthly, and you can actually get the app and check your credit on there. Experian is the bureau that we use to pull your credit. So it's important that you at least are familiar with your credit report. I do want to mention that if credit is something that you know right now is a challenge for you, to reach out, because we do provide a lot of resources that don't charge you to work on your credit. And so please do reach out if you know that that's a challenge. And then another a tip before applying for a loan is consult the experts. The SBDC is a great resource. That's a Small Business Development Center. There's another one called SCORE. There's a Women's Business Center. There's all kinds of partners that are here. You know, the Asian Business Association. There's the Black Chamber of Commerce. They all have different resources for small businesses. So definitely reach out. And if you need any help getting in contact with them, please let me know, and I'm happy to connect you. And then you do want to register your business. We work with LLCs, sole proprietors, corporations. So it doesn't matter how you register your business. If you want to start out, you know, without paying the fee, the $800 LLC fee per year, you can start as a sole proprietor, and then you can grow from there. But you do want to register your business in some way so that you are, you know, legally operating your business. You're locking down your name for your business here in the state of California. And then you want to use those documentations that you registered your business with to open a business bank account so that you can start to separate your business and your personal expenses. Okay, Yasmin, I'll answer your question in just a second. And then another tip, write a business plan and projections if you're starting, and have some sort of accounting system set up. And then if you're an existing business, always consult the experts, plan ahead, and then keep an eye on your credit. And yes, Morgan, that's a quick question I can answer. We only operate in Southern California. So Los Angeles County, Orange County, San Bernardino, Riverside, Imperial, and San Diego are the counties that we operate. So if you have a business and you live within those counties, we can definitely help you. There is a website, and Suzanne, maybe you can type this in the chat. It's called venturize.org. And that is, if you are out of state, that is a website that you can go to and type in your zip code and find a lender that's a CDFI in your area. So that's a good resource. And I can also type that in the chat here. Yeah, you're welcome. And then Yasmin, I'll answer your question in just a second. Okay, so another tip for existing businesses is plan ahead, file your business and personal taxes, and make sure that you have your accounting up to date, because once you start going through the process for a loan, that is something that we are going to ask from you. Let's go to the next slide, and then let me take a quick second. Let me read the question. I would like to know if you are partnering with the State of California Small Business Credit Initiative. So our loans are actually guaranteed with the State of California. So I'm not sure if that's what you're mentioning, but it is a state guarantee. So some traditional lenders like banks usually have the SBA, which is the federal government, guaranteeing their loans. Our loans are guaranteed with the State of California, and then also iBank is involved in that. So I'm not sure, Yasmin, if that answers your question. Maybe you can write in the chat if that did answer it, or you can come off mute to see if that answered your question. Okay, we can also touch base at that at the end. I'm almost done. I only have like one more slide. So the documents to have you have ready in order to go through the process are listed here on the screen. It's nothing out of the box when you're going through a loan. Pretty basic: bank statements, tax returns, business plan, business financials, copy of your ID. So pretty basic. I do want to also mention something I didn't say earlier, is that our time frame is pretty quick. So if you are going through the process and filling out an application, Once you submit all your documents, our process is usually about 1 to 3 weeks. So we do move pretty quickly. So just know that when you do fill out that application, you're going to want to have these documents ready to go. And I can send you a document list so that you have it, so that you know, and you can use it as a checklist as you're going through the process. Okay, let's go to the next slide. I think that we are almost there. Yeah, perfect. I just wanted to put this up here. This is a screenshot of our website. There's a couple different places you can click on to apply for a loan. However, I do recommend that you have a conversation with me first so that I can see if you would be a good fit for our program and vice versa, if this is a good program for you before you apply. Because once you apply, we will pull your credit. And so we always like to have that conversation first. So I'm going to go back to the chat now. If you want to go to the next slide, that has my contact information, Suzanne. And then feel free to jot it down, take a screenshot, reach out to me. That's my direct number and you can text me there. So any questions? No, we do not have a location in Texas. That's the Venturize resource I was mentioning. You're going to want to go on venturize.org to find a lender near you if you are out of Southern California. There's a lot of other CDFIs around the country, so that is a good place to find one. And then let me go back, Jasmine.
Yeah, thank you so much, Juliette. That was an
Of
excellent
course.
presentation. And that was, I know, a lot to cover in just like 20 or so minutes.
Yeah.
So just a couple reminders. I will be sending this deck out with the presenter contact information. So please reach out to anyone who presented here today. They were all volunteering their time to give you this free educational information, and everyone is open to having you contact them and ask questions. So I'll send that out after. I'll also send out Venturize, and there's another one called CDFI Finder where you can put in your zip code and it'll recommend CDFIs like Excessity that you can go talk to and have a conversation with and see if that's a good fit. The other thing I wanted to recommend is if you go on our website and there's a tab under the loans tab, it says prepare for a loan. You can fill out a quick form and just say that you were at this webinar here today, and you can connect with Juliette that way. But I also will be sending out her contact information. So we're super open to people contacting us. We're here to provide resources to you. We have lots of partnerships like Juliette was mentioning with the SBDC SCORE. All of these organizations are mostly all free, and they're here to help you and point you in the right direction, because starting a business or growing your business can be very confusing and you don't know where to start. And the banks, California Bank and Trust has always been so great at having a conversation with the business owner, pointing them in the right direction. Even if you're not ready for bank funding yet, they can refer you back to Accessity, where we can provide resources, financing, all sorts of good things. So we're at time here. I just want to, again, thank California Bank and Trust for sponsoring this webinar and the overall just support of our small business lending program here in Southern California. I want to thank all of our presenters and just really appreciate you volunteering your time. Lisa, thank you so much for helping plan this webinar. We couldn't do it without you. I'm so proud of what we've been able to do for these past few years that we've been working together. So thank you so much. And I want to thank you, the attendees. This is our last event of 2022. So thank you so much for coming to the event live. We always love our live watchers, and I will send out the recording after, but thank you again for attending. Connect with any of us. We're here to help you and your business. We want to see you grow. We want to see you succeed. So please don't hesitate to connect with us offline. So thank you again for attending, and we will talk to you soon.